I'm James Everyman. I started this fitness channel because I went on this fitness journey and I went from about 238 pounds to 178 pounds. And I went from a waist size of about 44 inches to 29. And along that journey, I learned a lot of things about why people are struggling to get their weight down and to get wellness and get fitness back. And the main thing I learned was a battle of the mind. We believe so many things that really aren't in the real world functional and true, that we're trying to do things that are never going to work for us. And what I'm hoping to do with this channel is give you some of the things that help me that you can integrate into whatever you're doing. And keep in mind, I'm not a doctor, so consult your health professionals before you do these things, but know that they work for me and that I believe they can work for you also. So, like the thumbnail said, the big thing is there's no such thing as overeating. Our eating patterns are determined by our hormonal and our metabolic state. This is a well known fact, although for whatever reason, people don't even talk about or deal with it. You think about The Biggest Loser and how these people exercise excessively and cut their calories, and in the end, they've only damaged their bodies. And their weight loss is almost never going to be permanent because their underlying hormonal state and metabolic state has not changed. And that's really what determines your level of body fat. There was a study done in 1971, a long time ago. So you would think these facts would have integrated themselves into the approaches that a lot of these health professionals and fitness celebrities take, but somehow it didn't. They fed these guys, and I believe they were inmates in prison in Vermont. They fed them 10,000 calories a day, and most of them gained between 35 and 40 pounds. Well, as soon as the study ended, these people lost this weight, and I think in about 10 weeks or so, they were all back to their pre-experiment weight. Now, what I saw this back in high school. So what they leave out, because I saw the movie and it was the documentary of the study. There were certain people that had weight issues before the experiment started, and these people had a hard time getting that extra weight off once they gained it. Why? Because they had metabolic and hormonal dysfunction. I'm gonna start a little tidbit here from one of the people that's really helped me is a guy named Dr. Fung. He's gonna explain some of this to you really quickly. So let me insert that, then I'm gonna come back.
Exercise. There's a fundamental flaw in this whole energy balance equation. The energy balance equation says that body fat equals calories in minus calories out. So what we take from that is that we assume that if we simply reduce the amount of calories we take in, that we're going to reduce our body fat. But that's not actually true. That's not actually what the equation says. So there's actually two parts to it, the calories in and calories out. So the question really is, if you reduce your calories taken in, does your calories that your body expends stay stable? And the answer is no, and we've known this for about 100 years. So you can look at studies done in 1917 where they take volunteers and they reduce the number of calories that they eat by roughly 30%. Then they measure their basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of calories that they're burning on a day-to-day basis. And what you find is that the body has reduced its energy expenditure by about 30%. So if you're taking 30% less calories in and your body is using 30% less calories, then you're not going to lose any body fat, which was the whole point of the exercise. And this is really the failure of this sort of calories in, calories out model, is that they're not independent variables. The calories in and the calories out are not independent of each other. They go up and down together, so simply focusing in on the calories leads you to fail in your efforts to lose body fat.
So when it comes to health and wellness, it's like we're in this maze and we're blindfolded, and the advice we're being given to find a way out of this is all a lie. So what we got to do is get in touch with the truth about why we get unwell and why we accumulate body fat, and then we have a chance to step on out and through that maze. So as you can see, the truth is the human body regulates your weight based on hormones and based on your base metabolic rate. And so our attempts through that behavior modification on how much we consume are going to have no effect at all in the long run. The reality is when you're hungry, you're going to eat. And when you're not hungry, you're not going to eat. And again, this is all based on hormones. It's all based on our hormonal state and how our body's triggering things. I had made this elaborate meal for myself a few weeks ago and was ready to dig into it. I got about 2/3 of the way through and my hunger was gone. And I might as well have had sawdust and gravel on that plate. There was no way I could eat any more. And in the very same way, if you're being prompted to eat, if you feel hungry, it's like holding your breath. You can only do it for so long and then you're going to eat. So these underlying mechanisms really shape what we eat. It's not our will. We're not just gluttons and just can't control ourselves. That's just not how it works. So when you hear these people talking about you need to be in a negative energy balance, that is not going to work. So in my next videos, what I hope to do is show you the things that I employed that actually did work. They're based on real science and they're based on how the human body actually works. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to give this information to you and hopefully it's going to help you.